Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, listeners, to our Girlington podcast. Today we have a really special topic, which we're going to get into, and we're going to talk about an organization called the Creative Map. And with us, we have Naz and Rachel. And as you can see, we have the absence of Molna Sajid. So I just want to, before we get into the topic of what we're doing today, I just want to talk about Molna Sajid in the light of what he does to the podcast, because every week you come on and you see these new people and new organizations, and throughout the week, the effort that Molna Sajid puts into this podcast is behind the scenes work is absolutely immense. So I hope he's listening. I hope he gets the message. And I just want to say a massive thank you to Molna Sajid for all the effort he puts in behind the scenes to keep this podcast running. This is the first week he's had off since last Ramadan. So last Ramadan, every week he's been on it. I've had a couple of weeks off, but he's just been on it every week. And this week he had to duck out for some reason. So I just want to extend a massive thank you to him. On that note, Naz, do you want to introduce yourself and the organization that we're talking about today?
Hi everybody. My name's Naz. I'm from Consequence, and I'm here to basically talk about my bits, but I want to introduce it to Rachel, and then Rachel can give you more of the lowdown of how both of our companies have come together. Rachel?
Yeah, thanks, Naz. Well, we can't remember how long we've known each other because it's been so long, but we met going back when we both worked for the Prince's Trust many years ago. So we've both kind of done a lot of work in the community, particularly with young people, and a lot of work with people to move away from crime, supporting young people at risk of offending and that kind of thing. And we've worked together on a lot of Naz's projects over the years. And at the same time, I've been working in the charity sector and kind of doing community focused work for many years. And then recently set up my own social enterprise, the Creative Map. So it was a perfect opportunity really to merge what we both do, because there's actually a lot of similarities between that. So the Creative Map in itself is kind of introducing lots of different creative and positive activities for well-being, talking about doing things for our mental and physical health, ways to kind of look after ourselves and our family, as well as kind of connecting to the community and doing things for our community as well. So this particular project that we're focusing on at the moment is funded by West Yorkshire Police and Crime Commissioner. So there is a focus on again, supporting young people at risk of getting involved in either drugs or crime. But at the same time, much of what we do is kind of really relevant to everybody at the moment, because we're all in these restrictions. Everybody's kind of feeling a bit fed up with everything. And so it's like, suggesting creative, positive, healthy ways in which we can cope with these circumstances and help ourselves and other people a little bit better.
Oh, wow. So the Creative Map, what's some of the activities, some of the projects that you guys have got going on at the moment?
So, I mean, this is our main project at the moment, which is the project in Bradford, funded by the PCC. Other than that, I mean, we'll be making a lot of videos. So we'll be running workshops. I run workshops live, like creative workshops for groups of people to have a go at doing something new, like picking up a new hobby, that kind of thing. What we'll be doing through this as well is making some videos of us kind of demonstrating how to do activities. We'll be making videos of us like out in the community, kind of just reminding people to, that you can actually leave the house and go to outdoor spaces and try and, look after yourself in that way. And that actually there are things that we can still be doing. So, it's workshops. We've got an online course. Naz does a lot of kind of motivational speeches for in the college. So it's anywhere really we can get in front of people to share this message.
See, as you know yourself, with lockdown being in place, a lot of the public, they're not understanding that from an ex-convict side of stuff, an ex-prisoner, you've all done a 3-year sentence, technically speaking, because it's half of the 3 years is 1.5. So 1.5 years, technically, we've all been in lockdown. So our community, every one of us, has gone through the steps and the process of exactly how an inmate will feel. And what we did is me and Rachel, we come together and we thought, the element of consequence and crime, that's always there, and we're always working on them projects. But we've decided to do something a bit different as well, where we can give tips and small videos and share certain clips around personal self-being, well-being, healthiness, about using what's around you and looking in your community and thinking, hang on, I can either sit here every day and go through the process of same thing, different day, every day, one of those, or every day I can do something different. So, i.e., from what we're trying to do with this project is get young people and family members active and to think, hang on, I might not have gym equipment and stuff, but I can use stuff like that. But I'll talk about that a bit more. But that was kind of the whole idea of where we've come from. As for projects that have been going on, we've just done 12 sessions in Bradford College. We're doing some one-to-one sessions with some young people around the fitness side of it, because a lot of people, unfortunately, have been eating constantly and playing PlayStation and watching TV or Netflix or whatever, and the belly and the weight has gone up. And what's happening is now they're saying, Naz, the gyms are closed. What do we do? And I say to them, look, the way you're talking is like as if you're locked in your room and you can't go anywhere. There's a lovely world out there. There's a park out there. There's sufficient parks for you to go with your family and do certain things. But hopefully, with these small videos that will come later, it'll give the individual to think, I've got that support mechanism. I can do this. And this is someone who's been there and done that, as in the prison side of stuff, the stressfulness, the isolation, and how to deal with it. There'll be little video clips coming along with that so that young people can see that and take that further.
As that's some of the things you've said there resonate with myself in terms of the not getting out and putting the weight on. You said they're going to be video clips released on this sort of things, and you touched on a couple of things such as mental health. How are you going to disseminate these sort of clips, and how would you advise people, who are going through and struggling with some of these mental health issues to just stay connected and stay in touch? Have you got anything involved in and around that?
Do you want to say, Rachel, something?
Also just to be clear, we're not a mental health organisation, although I do deliver kind of on behalf of some mental health charities. We're always very clear to say that we're not like professionals in that manner. It's more about kind of self-care and how we can look after ourselves and other people. So as an example, I ran a workshop the other day and I'm creating a video of it, and it's all about journaling. So it's all about writing down like how you're feeling, kind of diarising, the experience that we're having, through lockdown, and a lot of it is kind of in creativity. It's self-expression. It's anything that will get all of those thoughts and feelings out of your head and onto paper, because that process in itself is very therapeutic. So we suggest things like journaling, like drawing and sketching, painting, anything, absolutely anything creative. So some of the videos that we'll be making they'll either be kind of healthy stuff, so going to the parks, using equipment that we've got around the house or in our local community to look after our physical health, and then it'll be things like writing poetry, creative writing, journaling, doing art and stuff like that. So it's lots of little, we'll produce a kind of how-to guide. So if it's just having a go at something, it's like people are a bit put off by having a go at anything creative if they haven't tried it before. So we're going to produce some really clear step-by-step guides of how to do those things, and demonstrations of either Naz or myself actually doing those to kind of to show you how, what we do basically.
And will people who take part and follow these videos, will they have an opportunity to maybe send you or allow these works to be published? Because sometimes when you put in that amount of effort, it's nice to get. I mean, I know a lot of it will be for your own therapeutic and own personal use, but sometimes if you've done a piece of work, it's always good to display and show that. I know it's something that some organizations do. Do you have a sort of a Twitter account or Facebook account where you could showcase some of these things possibly?
Yeah, I mean, we're happy for those ideas to be sent to us. I'm actually in the process of creating what will be like an online gallery as part of the website. So there'll be a space for people to upload their work. So if they've if anyone has sort of been inspired to create something as part of this project, we'd really love to see it, have a photo of it or a little video recording or something. And yes, there'll be a space on our website to publish that, so we can we can share it. And also for it's nice for other people in the community to see, well, this will inspire them to have a go as well.
And it's not only the see, I'm someone who finds it hard to put pen to paper. So what we've done in the past with Rachel and ourselves in the programs is we've delivered sessions around knife crime, gun crime, gang culture and prison and stuff. And then rather than the kids just writing something like, I found this interesting and that, it was different. We said to them, look, whatever you've got in there, whatever we've told you, don't forget the pen. I don't want the pen. I need you to draw. So what we've done, we got old vinyl records. We bought them, and we bought graffiti pens. And what the aim was, whatever I had taught them, they put that down onto the graffiti. So it come out with pictures and small messages and stuff. And for me, when I had that on our office walls and that, it was beautiful because it showed another artistic way of an individual. Because everyone thinks, oh, hang on, art, it's just no. But the thing is, it helps and it soothes you to get your message out. That could be anything, how you're feeling, how you've been feeling, what you think about the future, where you see yourself, what can you do for your community, and all this could be put down, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, it's something where they can kind of highlight and show to us and say, we was on this and this is what we did, this is where we are, and this is what we're feeling. So we can have them one-to-ones as well with young people and family members. With the ones that I'm doing, I'm just taking a group of like 4 lads separately, one at a time, and our park here in Manningham and West Park, we're just going around there, and I know it sounds bizarre, but one day it's a run, second day it's a jog, third day it's just a communication talk. So you know that 4 times a week you're getting that time, fresh air. I'm not asking you to come out every day, but the aim is to get them out and say, look, there's a lot more you can do mentally by just coming out and just breathing fresh air rather than scooped at home playing PlayStation or watching Netflix.
So now you mentioned that, like going out for a walk and going out for a run. What other physical activities can someone do in this lockdown? Like, is that kind of that sounds like a bad way of putting is that extent? I know the massive benefits from going for a run. Like, it's something that I actively partake in myself, and the mental release you get when you go out for any of them activities, you can't really describe it unless you go and do it. So are there any other physical activities, and what are the benefits of them in this situation that we're in with this lockdown?
Well, basically, some of the physical activities that I've got my young people on is just home training. So it's like a gym, but it's in your own home. So your basic sit-ups, push-ups and stuff, you're not going to see any difference within a day or so. But the aim is you're doing a roll-on, roll-off type of thing. And the aim is once you've done them and you do them and you can get that idea of, I need to do 10 in the morning, 10 in the afternoon, 10 in the evening. Do you know what I mean? And I can get that side of the stuff. And the aim is there's that side of it. The other side of it is just talking to somebody, to have that. I know it sounds bizarre, but that release to talk to somebody, to say, look, this is what it is. Now, a lot of my young friends and workers have all put this on, weight has come on because of the lack of going out and doing stuff. So it's starting to build on people's mind that, oh, I'm getting a belly, or I'm this and that. And we're trying to show them that you can do something about it, or you can stay the same. And the aim is different workshops will be able to lead them onto something. So I could do a 10-minute clip on some of the stuff that they can take from the kitchen. So like water bottles, get Morrison bags or bags, heavy duty bags, put some water bottles on, and you can do training with the water bottles. Same with tuna cans at the end of the day. Yeah, it's all about another one is using a towel, just keeping it straight and bending it back and over, and little techniques that we picked up whilst we were in prison. Because in prison people think, oh, once you're inside you've got access to gym 24/7. It's a lie. You get it for 1 hour a day if lucky. So you've got to do with what you've got to do, and 9 times out of 10 it's your own body weight work with. So there is other sides of it, but we're just trying to pick on small little bits for them to see if they like something like that, and if it's enticing enough to someone to say, I'll take that challenge on. It's only a week's challenge, I can do that, and then I'll take on the second week challenge and the third week and the 4th week. And the aim is to get that person to think, you were sat there doing nothing, worrying about certain things, but you've now got up and you got into this position and you're moving.
Oh, that's brilliant, Naz. From the creative, I mean, there is two sides to it all, isn't it? There's the creative side, and then there's the physical side. And I appreciate, Naz, you've been through some of the physical side. From the creative element, Rachel, what is there in particular that you could share with us that people could, just if you were to give us an example of what some of your mini videos will have in there. I know Naz talked about the example of the records, the vinyls, and the graffiti pens, but are there any other examples that you've got to hand that you could possibly share with us?
Yeah, the art stuff is one of the most popular ones, really, because I think people are more open to having a go at doing something artistic. So what we're doing as part of this is creating some activity packs, and within that there'll be some like adult coloring books of just people are just buying, everybody's enjoying this kind of this like coloring in, drawing, just having something that you can have a go at like that. So we're going to include some kind of templates, if you like, templates to either colour in, things to cut out, some kind of simple arts and craft activities, like some materials you could use to make a card for someone, or make something you can do with all the family, like just using materials from around the house, creating a picture that represents like your family or your community or something, something about your life like that, and creating that as either a family project or a community project, and then having that kind of to be able to put up on your wall. So we're going to outline kind of steps to do that and to not be put off by that. I think there's a lot of fear that to do art you need to be good at it, but it's just everything we do is not about being good at it. It's doing it because it's good for us. It's looking at it from the other perspective. So there'll be a number of like art projects in there as well. Even things like photography, or getting out, old photos and making a collage of things like that, reminding ourselves of the important things in our lives and things like that. So very simple kind of creative activities that you can do just with things that you find around the house.
I think that photography thing that you just mentioned there is fairly interesting, because we live in an area surrounded by the countryside, natural beauty, and there's loads of landmarks that people actually don't ever get out to. I was talking to a friend today, and we were thinking of using our bikes and getting up to places like the Thornton Viaduct and the various places close by, and using those within a photography project, I think would be really, really good. From the physical side, and I was just going on to yourself, you've talked about some of the things that we do indoor. What about the stuff that we can do outdoor? Because I know a lot of the sports clubs where especially the youngsters are involved in. I run the football club, and where we've been parked up. We can't do anything. And I know Barbara runs his jiu-jitsu club, and unfortunately he's parked up. What are the alternatives to getting kids out? I know it's a bit cold as well, but the benefits of outdoor play is brilliant. And the play aspect has been really sort of reduced and sort of hammered away from everyone in the last 6 weeks and over this lockdown. Do you have any tips on how to replace sort of these team games with something individual, or something? Because you are allowed exercise with one other person from another household, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, what I'll say to that is, at the end of the day, just like you've said there, and knowing the football group that you run and the jiu-jitsu group that Barbara runs, a lot of those young people will be feeling it, because the government's put that restriction on that you can't meet together. So gone are the days of going and have a game of football. But what I then says to young people is look, you don't need to go have a game of football, because it's I understand it's something that you've missed, but this general walk now, our West Park at the end of the day is big enough for people to walk around it at the end of the day and do your normal stuff and whatnot. But what we then have brought in is one day it's okay, second day, third day, you're going to get bored of it. Like everything, it gets boring, because it's like, oh my God, do I have to do this? But then what we've brought in is you can bring in the litter picking side of stuff. So for your community, that the area that you're constantly walking around, do a little pick. At the same time, you're getting your walking and you're doing your thing. The other side of this exercise is as a Muslim, you've got to look after your own community within this vicinity that you live in. So where are all those community heroes of ours that up and coming that could come out and go, right, I know there's a person living on my street and they're elder, or there's this, there's that. I can go ask and see if they need anything because I'm helping my community. That in itself is an exercise because you're coming out to do something for someone else. The other side of what I've done is when they get bored with, say, West Park, I then say to them, let's go to Manningham Park. And the aim is to take them from something small to something big. It's not out of Bradford. We're not breaking any laws, but it's something that they need to see that, hang on, I don't really need to pay X amount of money to go to this gym when I can do all of this here. Now, up near Lady Royd Park, which is up near Ollerton, near Roadsway School, that park there is the only park, I don't know why, and I think we all need to come together as a community and talk to our councillors and stuff and whatnot and MPs. That's the only park that's got exercise machines in there. Our West Park hasn't got nothing like that. We've got a lovely football pitch, and we've got a beautiful skateboard park, which I don't know whoever uses, but it's a beautiful one. But other than that, the exercise machines that the Lady Park has got is unbelievable. The free weights, there's something that's been bolted into the ground. And when I go there with my young people, you can see their faces light up like, oh my God, this was here. And they're like, yeah, it's for you. And then the question always comes back. Why isn't it in our community? Now, this might be something that the Girlington community, our lot here and the community that we're in, we might want to do that after doing one of these sessions. We might put that in a podcast to say all these young people and family members, they want to come out to this park because the weather's going to get better. Is there any chance for our council to take action and put these equipment machines here? And then that gives this community a more of a fighting chance than the rest of the communities out there, to be honest with you.
So that's awesome, Naz. And I've been up to that Lady Roy Park, and I remember the first time. I saw it, I was like, "Oh, check this out!" And it's all body weight. So you sit on it, and then you do the stuff with body weight, so you can regulate the intensity and stuff like that, right?
It's your own body weight. There's no heavy weights on it. So if you can't pick your own body weight, move it back a bit and then do it. And when I was there with this one young person, I've got to give it to him. He looked at me and he tried everything. I said, never be a quitter, try everything. And he tried everything. And what he'd done is he'd gone overboard with it. And I'm saying, calm down, you'll find out. the third day, he's like, Naz, I'm in pain. I said, don't worry, you still need to come and stretch, but we'll do it lighter. But what he did say to me was Naz, and it's something that it's a bit of a shame that we haven't got it here, and our folks may have to travel up to Lady Royd, but I'd advise everyone to check that out because my video is going to be based around that park. To show people that, look, this is here. You've still got your exercise lap around the corner, but pay a visit into here. They've made this for the community. Please use these machines, and it's your own body weight. And I know it sounds bizarre, but it was put back in the days to the council about Girlington, and they said, yeah, we do it. It's a really good idea, but they never did it.
Yeah. I know. So in terms of body weight, I remember my little one, I think he's 8 now, so he was using them. And this was back before lockdown when we went up there, but he was absolutely buzzing off it. So anyone can use it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be you don't have a prerequisite level of fitness to be able to do it. It is for everyone. And it is awesome. One thing I want to ask you, so you mentioned like at the start of the podcast about people coming out, like us being in this prison sentence. So have you seen an increase in demand for I know we've been on podcasts before where we talked about your organization and we talked about some of the work you do. Have you seen an increase in demand towards like some of the services that you guys provide?
Yes. Well, you remember Dave that was on with us last time at the end of the day. We had a lot of young people, and it's not young people coming themselves, by the way, it's the who have noticed that they are using a lot more drugs. They're a bit in their own world. Most of them are like, yeah, they just keep playing PlayStation and whatnot. But the thing is, a lot of them have seen that a lot of young people are using some of these drugs that are accessible via Snapchat and all this other kind of media stuff there is. So it's gone a lot easier for young people to go towards some of those elements. But at the same time, because everyone's in a lockdown situation, schools can't kind of refer, youth services can't refer, and neither can police services refer anything. It's all now basically being online where, for example, when we did the Bradford College, they needed the 12 sessions around the consequences of getting involved in crime. At the same time, some of the drugs that are around there, and at the same time, what they picked up on was county line drug dealing. And that was given to us, and then we went in and delivered those sessions specifically on there. But what had happened afterwards is some of the questions that we were getting from them, you know, were quite intriguing into thinking, oh, hang on, do you know, this information that they've managed to get, it's via Snapchat and some of the stuff on there that they were like kind of colliding with me to say, yeah, you're right, Naz. It's easy to hold the balloons. It's easy to get hold of drugs. Drugs can be dropped in the house even quicker now, whereas before you had to ring. Now you just need to snap it. And the beauty of it is once it's snapped, it's gone. Once he's read it, it won't ever be there on the system. So it's made a life a lot easier for them young people to get access to stuff. But at the same time, all I'll always say to that is parents just have an eye and keep an eye on what they're doing. You know, go through their products as in clothes and stuff and see for any telltale signs, and vice versa. If you need any information, help, please come to the podcast. Please come to Mustard Umar and get that, and we'll be happy to give that information whenever it's needed.
Yeah, and I mean that's one of the reasons we put that kind of argument forward in getting this funding, which is one of the reasons we got it, because it's because that is increasing, that need is increasing, and a lot of it is to do with obviously the schools and colleges and universities being closed. People are bored, they're isolated, they're frustrated, and those issues are only going to be on the increase unless we can provide something that's a better option, really. And that's really hard to do. I mean, we know that, and you know, we've been working on this type of project for many years, and it's hard to kind of convince people that this idea that we've got is more interesting, more exciting, better for you than whatever you were going to go out and do that day. But that's kind of the idea behind it, that there are that choice at the end of the day is yours to make, and you can either make a positive choice for your future, or you can make one that kind of is going to affect your life negatively. So we certainly can't fix that, but the demand is there, the increase in demand is there, to the extent that at least we can offer some sort of alternative, a positive alternative, certainly for like keeping people busy during these times. And a lot of it is that with young people, a lot of it comes down to boredom and frustration, and just of life just not being like going as you might have planned, you know. That's where a lot of this kind of issue comes from. So yeah, we can support that in our own small way, I guess.
I know. I was going. Sorry, Akif, are you going to say something?
No, sorry, go ahead.
So I was going to ask you. So lockdown for a lot of organizations has been a time of recession, right? So a lot of organizations have shrunk in their footprint, in their people. But setting something up during lockdown, and I think you alluded to that, must have been something that like you really saw this demand out there, that you thought, actually, you know what, this is a demand in the community we really need. To set something up during the lockdown is a daunting task. Yeah. So it must be something really like something like a big issue that you're seeing out there to have set that up and gone out and done that, right?
Yeah, I mean, the honest answer to that is it's just something I'm really, really passionate about, and it's been kind of my plan to set this up as a social enterprise for a lot of years. And having supported Naz and what he's doing, we've had the conversation so many times about we should work more closely together and reach more people and do more good things, you know, and get more funding and be able to deliver more. And so yeah, it's not an easy time to set up a new organization, but we have set it up in the way, because it's a community interest company. It means that essentially we're kind of halfway between a charity and a business, so we can access funding to deliver projects that are really needed within the community. And we can also sell places to workshops, like the online course people pay to attend. So we can make sure that the money that comes in, all of the money that comes into the organization, goes back into delivering for free to the people who need it the most. So that's how it works. And a lot of what Naz and I do, we do on a voluntary basis anyway, and we have done for many years. So, I mean, hopefully that'll change, because we do want it to be a sustainable business. But the business model, if you like, that we're going for is that we get money into the company, but it all goes back into the community, and that's really important to us. And yeah, we've both kind of worked on this type of project for so long that we know what it needs, and we know that the demand will always be there.
I was just going to ask Rachel, hopefully we'll get some good news on the 22nd from our esteemed Prime Minister about the end of lockdown. What are the plans post-lockdown? Are you going to be, instead of the video sessions, are you going to be holding sort of community-based sessions? Is there a plan to do sort of anything locally? Is it going to be college-based? Where are we going to go?
I mean, it's really put a stop to kind of what we were doing. To be fair, this particular project, we planned it knowing it would be within the restrictions. So everything within this project we can do kind of recorded or online. But we also know that to make the biggest difference, we need to get in front of people and actually work one-to-one with people, or with groups, actual working with real people, which is what we love doing. So, I mean, Naz's talks in the college is a good example. I think you got, how many, what was it? Nearly 300 people. You delivered to nearly 300 people in those sessions back in November, December. So, we do have those networks there, and we do want to get in front of people. So ideally, for example, the workshops that we're running online at the moment would go live, would go in person to small groups of like 10 young people or young adults at a time. And we'd just be out there in the community, delivering in community venues. That's the idea. I mean, a lot of people actually have been open to coming onto the workshops on Zoom, for example, but it's also not for everyone, and it's just still not the same as being in a room with people, actually being able to like do an activity as a group. So the plan is to go back to being in person, definitely.
The other side thing of it is, for most, whilst this lockdown is over thing, a lot of people last year thought, oh yeah, within 4 or 5 months it'll be over. It wasn't. And then again, oh, it'll be over, Boris is coming on. No. What I was saying to people was, you all got a sentence of 3 years, you got sentenced, you went through, you got parole, but then what's happened is he let you out for about a month to 2 months, and he called you back in again. So you're all back in again, and we're at that stage. Now, there's a funny side to it, there's the other side to it. The funny side of it is, finally people can start seeing what's happening, because right now in the UK, I don't know if you knew, but all prisons in the whole of UK are not allowing any family members in to visit their loved ones. Second, it's isolation spot, so it's half an hour of fresh air. That's if it's not raining. So just imagine the circumstances that they're in and the way we are. So what I've done with Rachel is, the aim is we're going to be doing, my videos are going to be in an actual prison cell, which I'm making, and we'll be doing live pods from there. And the thing that I'm trying to show to the young people is look, this is the life. Look what life you've got. We're both living the same life. The only difference is this is a prisoner's life. Look at your life. It may be the same, you may think, but there's a lot you can do. The other thing that I wanted to do, Barbara, with this is, once this program's gone through, a cohort of young people and elder people from within our community, and I'd love them all to come forward and sit with us and to say, what they've got up in Lady Royd Park, we want that here in West Park. What do we do as a community collectively? How many signatures do we need? What do we need to do? This all can be done whilst this process is going off. And then when restrictions are come down to an easy point, it would be really nice to have that something, even if it's just 3 machines put there to say, in that period, we worked together because we felt there was a need for it, and look what we've done. So it's having an idea, having a group of people who believe in it, and then taking it to the right people and taking it out. And the aim for that is look where we were, look where we went, and look where we've got to. That's the kind of mentality we're trying to people to say. Don't look at it now thinking that, oh, I'm closed in. I don't know what Boris is going to say. Is he going to say yes? Is he going to say no? Think like this, that I'm alive. I've got my family members with me. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food coming in at the end of the day. There are millions of people out in the world who haven't even got that. So small little things like that should make you realize how beautiful life is, even though that we're in this kind of a situation, really.
Oh.
No, I think that's a brilliant suggestion, Naz. And I think the other thing with that as well would be that a lot of young people are turned off with the democratic process. So getting involved with local politics and being able to influence sort of local-based decisions, I think would sort of re-engage young people into staying away from sort of the paths that you want them to avoid them being going away from. Have you had any words at the minute with any local councillors, or have you started this approach? When are you thinking of going forward? Because it'd be a good idea to link in with the organisations, and sort of the more organisations that are in together, that would probably aid the process.
Yeah, like I said to you, Imran, the MP, but he's no longer an MP for our area.
No,
I had put the idea into his head, and he was like, "This is something that we definitely need. I don't know why it's not in West Park." Blah 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 blah. And then it came to a standstill because obviously people changed their jobs and stuff and moved. What we could do is if it's something that the community decides that, yeah, on this podcast, that this is something we want and we'd love to have something like this, then it doesn't stop us as a collective group starting the, what's it called, ball rolling and take measures. There's enough of us around to put that in place to say, we represent this community, which is a BD8 Girlington. That is a park within our vicinity. These are all the signatures we've got from young people, from the women of the community, from the elder men of the community. This is what it's needed. Where do we go from here? And I think working as a group, we can start something. It's just all about trying to sit down and say, right, where do we go and who are the best people for it?
Rachel, I was going to ask, so we're talking about this, the organization set up, the creative map. What's the best way to get involved with that organization?
So with this project specifically, we'll be posting on our social media sites any events like Facebook Live events, any workshops that we'll be running. So they'll be all on our Facebook page, as will the videos that we'll be making. But one of the ways we really want to get people involved is we're going to be creating, like I've mentioned, these activity packs. Now we're going to make them in two ways so that people can either download them on their computer and print them out if they have access for that, and if they can't, then we're going to create produce a number of printed copies, and they'll be available at different venues around the community, and Naz can probably talk a bit about that in a minute. So what we want to do is not kind of have any restrictions around people needing to print anything or get any resources or anything like that. So we're going to produce these packs and get them out to as many people as possible. And then, as we mentioned before, it'd be great to kind of get some feedback and see what other people have made or created or been inspired to do through that. So yeah, we'll be producing those hopefully in the next couple of weeks, because that's a big part of this project of getting people involved. But yeah, we'd love people to join along at the live Facebook events, and watch the videos and tell us what you think and have a go and let us know. So you can contact us by email or through social media, and both of us hopefully, but certainly Naz will be dropping off the activity packs for people to pick up as well out in the community.
Once those packs are made, ideally I'd like to place them with Maulana Masjid and yourself at the masjid. That's one centre point. The other centre point that I'm looking for is either Girlington Community Centre, and then the other side of it is as of when the young people come through from yourself, you may have 6 people in one area, 2, 3 in another. Numbers will come generate from yourself. You may say, now we need a pack of, say, 60 packs. Just leave them here, just in case, so we know we can hand them out. But what the aim is it's to try to get it out in the community as much as we can, really.
Sorry, just a quick question. What ages are you targeting? Are we going all the way through from the young ones right through to the elders, or is it a specific age range and specific gender?
Well, yeah, we want to cover all, really. I mean, Naz's specialism is young people, really. This project, the funding for this project is really for kind of young adults, so like 18 to 25. But it's also really important for us that the activities are accessible for anybody, so they're suitable for all ages, for families to do together, for to suggest to your neighbours or whatever. So the activities are for everybody. Some of it through this project, yes, will be targeted at young people and young adults at risk of offending. But on the whole, what we do is for everybody and anybody, and we want as many people involved as possible, really.
It's like when it comes to numbers wise, I would say, I've delivered the youngest person I've ever delivered to is 12, and the eldest is, I'm sure he was 87. Someone from the Masjid al-Ummah, when I did the presentation around Ramadan, he came up to me afterwards and he went, I'm really shocked. I was like, wow, it was even at my age. So for me, that's side. But one of my sessions, what I'm doing with young people within the Girlington community area, basically, I had one-to-ones with him, and that's been good. But what happened was he actually brought his family out to the basketball section of West Park. And funny enough, it may sound, he made a video and sent me and said, look, Naz, my mum, my dad, my brother and my 2 sisters, we're all in this basketball team because they see me coming here with you and they're doing the same. And all it was just throwing ball. It wasn't even a professional game. There was nothing. But for me, that was like, you are your family champion. You did that. No one else did that. What would they, but what were they doing? Eating their food, watching TVs. One would have been on the one iPad, one would have been phone. You brought them out after food, and said, come, do this with me and trial it. See, so the way I see it is we put it into their heads and then it will get put into the other family member heads. And by that, you'll have a kind of a rollover thing with quite a lot of the community taking up.
Yeah, and I think that kind of comes back to what we were saying before about like it feels sometimes like there's different elements to this. There's like the creative side and then there's the health kind of side. But actually, what we're talking about really is getting out in nature, getting out in an outdoor space, and that in itself can really inspire you to either do something like healthy, like playing basketball or football or going for a run or whatever. It can also inspire you to take a photo or to write something or to do something kind for a neighbor or something. So there's actually a really strong connection between getting outside in the real world, out in nature, and kind of that inspiring you to feel creative and helpful and to do something for, to pass it on, essentially, like you're saying, as to pass that on, to do something for somebody else. And that's what it's about, really, kind of planting the seed and then it going, spreading out into the community.
So now I remember one of the earlier podcasts that you were on with us, and one of the things that you were saying and one of the messages that you were trying to get across to parents is one bad action, like one bad apple can infect another one and can infect another one and can infect another one. It gets sent. But what I'm hearing here, what you're also saying is the inverse of that is also true, right? So a small good action that you can go out and do is also infectious, and you can get that to pass on and pass on and pass on. And it seems like the project and some of the type of things you're trying to do here is to start that chain reaction, to get that expression, to get the physical stuff, but just the small stuff. You don't have to go out and run a marathon today. You don't have to go out and start painting amazing pictures today. Just start small, start something, express yourself, and that's the kind of vibe I'm getting, which is a really interesting concept, very inverse to what we were talking about a couple of podcasts ago with yourself, Naz, about the bad influences.
Yes. That part of it, you've got that bang on, because consequence side of it, we're there to talk to you about the negative of what's going to happen and how it is. This side here, what I've realized is, okay, for example, me doing a live video stream from a prison cell, to the average people, it's like, yeah, whatever. But once they get into it and listen and they're looking and thinking, technically speaking, he's in that box and his mind for that many years was like what we're thinking. Am I going to get out? Is it going to be like this or whatnot? What's going to happen? But how did he deal with it? Now, I never had any opportunity to do any good inside, but whilst I'm here in the community, I'm looking at it like as if this is a prison lockdown system for the whole of UK. What can I do that's going to be a bit different that I'm going to remember later on? Am I going to sit there like the rest of my friends and think, I played PlayStation and I did this and I did that and I did this. I watched all these series. No, none of that. What I want to know is what did I learn? Where did I go? So for me personally, it's a thing of, look, even the basic of picking up a dictionary and going through some of the words and thinking, right, I now know something, a word search, certain elements of it, and that chain, if you don't start it yourself, like, for example, this park, why I'm saying to everybody to go to West Park, fine, but I'm also asking people on the video to go to the Lady Roy Park, is because exactly what you said there, Baba. For the first time when you see it, you actually look and think, oh my God, this... And then you start thinking, why isn't it in my community? But okay, it's still a community. It's still in Bradford. You can still go there. But something like that, wouldn't it be nice if we had, say, 100 young people that actually went with their families and went to that Pacific Park and says, yeah, I put my hand up. I want to be a part of this. I want this in my community. And then that, what we could do is we can put the other side of it of you want to create this chain in this community. What does there need to be for it to be done? We're already linked up with the right community members. We've got the right community police liaison officers, the councillors, the MPs. Not an issue. We're all in a highly position where we can get those on board. But it's actually having the young people come forward to say, we are a part of this and we do want this. Now, I know, Akif, the football team, something like that, if that was there here in Girlington, they'd be happy. They'd be loving that. It's something where they don't have to be there in a group. It can be one on one machine, one on the other, and it's rotated. A person just needs to stand in the middle with the whistle and go, 5 minutes is up, chain. And it's just the same scenario, but on those machines. Now, picture it. If we can do that for our community members, all those people that are coming to read prayers, after prayers, why don't you go down to West Park during the summertime and do a bit of a lap, do a bit of a session? So something like that, if it could be pulled off, I think it'll prove to a lot of people that in sudden negative times, we got onto something and we made a change for this community for the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also like, you know, you can't on the one hand be saying to young people, don't do that, without giving them an alternative, something else to do, you know. And a lot of, I mean, anyone that's heard Naz's talks, it's deliberately quite hard hitting. You know, he tells his story, he says it how it is, and it's meant to shock people into, you know, not wanting that way of life. But that in itself is really powerful. But it's, and then what? Then what do we do? So what do we do instead? What choices do we make instead of that? And it's about offering a positive alternative somewhere else for that frustration to go, some other way of expressing yourself rather than committing a crime. It's you know, it's looking at making that choice between doing something that's going to negatively affect your life or doing something positive, and actually giving some suggestions, some opportunities for young people to make that, you know, better decision.
It's like, now, if I bring it back to yourself, Barbara and Akif, how are you feeling, in this lockdown? Because you're both working, you've done really good with your careers, you've gone some places, but you've actually had the same feeling as a prisoner, as you've been brought back and you've been put into a room. Have it be your own room, have it be your own family and stuff, but you'll know what you're feeling, you'll know what you're missing, you'll know how your routine was. And if you're feeling like that, picture what the younger generation are going to be feeling. You know, those Akif that used to look forward to coming to football at the end of the day. It was a getaway for them. It was a little bit of a, yes, this is our club, this is our pride, we're here, we're playing football, we've got this community thing. That's no longer there. Yeah, you've got groups of WhatsApp and stuff and messages. That's okay. But something like this, I think personally, you know, it's not only the program that we're running, but generally every young person and every human being within the Girlington community, I've seen one thing: they're not coming out. They are in their houses, and that's it. The door's locked. That's it. No, we're not coming out. No. And it's like, but, no, you can come out.
The question is then, so we've got this issue where, you know, like you say, we're all sat down, we're all inside, we're all getting heavier. What's the spark that's going to get people out? Who's going to take this responsibility? I mean, in your opinion, Rachel, and yours, Naz, how can we get these people out? We're going to have these videos, like you said, for your organisation, but is that going to be enough to get them out? What else is there going to be, you know, in a practical and realistic sense, to get people off Netflix and off the PlayStations and reduce those waistlines a little bit, to get them ready for my football season, for example?
To get them off the PlayStation, I'm gonna say that's gonna be a bit tricky. I think you may have to join them online to take them off, in a sense, right? But that part of it, you've got to understand one thing. It's the exercise of everyone thinks exercise is gonna be fun. It's not. It is gonna hurt you after a bit because your own body's never done that. So that's yet to come. But the thing is, once you've mastered that point, it's trying to show that individual, look, you've got two options. When you're in prison, you have the same thing. You've got two options. Sit there, watch TV, sleep, and the other stuff, and that's it. Or do something with yourself. Get yourself educated, get yourself a skill, get yourself into something that you enjoy. Now, one of my videos is going to be where it'll be an hour where I'm in the prison cell and I'm talking to ex-prisoners who've been there and done that, and they're going to be giving their kind of isolation prison tactics that they did to get themselves occupied. But at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'll be using my beautiful mother to learn how to cook a dish. So it's trying to show them that, look, whilst you're there, use what you've got around you. And yes, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, oh, I can't be arsed, it's cold, I'll wait till summer. Yeah, wait until summer, it's going to add an extra tire onto you, and you're going to be even in a far worse position than you are now. So do something about it now, even if it means going out and just knocking on your next door neighbour's door to say, hi, I live next door. You knew this. I'm just asking, do you need anything? Do you want me to go get you something from Morrison's, from Asda, from wherever? Anything from the halal butchers, anything, whatever you need. I'm here for you. I know you can't get out. I'll get out. And for me, that's trying to push something in our community to say, these are our champions, our community champions. They did it off their own back. They weren't forced. They did it because they felt like they were down and out, depressed, and they wanted to join something that will give them a bit more of a feel of something. And I'd love to take them out, don't get me wrong, I'd love to, but right now everything's locked down, and it's that thing later on down the line, I mark my word, there will be something like that in Girlington, and where we can have that. And I'd love to have all of us on board, because it's something that I think is needed.
Yeah, I mean, we can't drag people away from their TVs, and so we can't actually make people change, make people, do that. But I suppose the way we would like to do it is to inspire them to have a go at something. So, and it's why we don't want to just kind of create videos of us talking about stuff. The videos will be actually of us doing those activities, so that hopefully inspires people to think, oh yeah, I could have a go at that as well. So it's not as effective as getting in front of people or getting a group of young people together and actually like facilitating an activity. That would be better. But until we're at that point, we're going to do our best to inspire people to have a go at some of these activities.
I think, Naz, one of the interesting things you said there is like, how has it affected you, and how has it affected the clubs that we run, and Aki runs the Fairbank United, and I run my martial arts academy. And one of the big things that people like, so when you typically think about these academies, you think about their main aspects of the football or the jiu-jitsu, but one of the big things around it is the social aspect. And that's one of the big things that we're missing during this lockdown. So it's the interaction with the people that you train with, and that whole social dynamic has changed. And I think that's and I never thought of it this way until you started mentioning it about how it is in prison. In essence, it's removing of someone's social standing, someone's social environment, isn't it? So, and that's a really good narrative that you put through there, and how the creative map is looking to try overcoming that and getting people more engaged, and try getting people to express themselves more and bring themselves out of themselves in maybe ways that they didn't need to do before because they had that social network, right? Yes. But now they don't. Yeah. New and alternative ways to try doing it, and setting up, giving people ideas through the website and through your Facebook and your Instagram. I think it's an awesome endeavor, and I wish you all the best in it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So what I have done is, across the bottom, you can see on here, there's the at the Creative Map CIC. So that's on Facebook and Instagram, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. And there's also the website, thecreativemapcic.com. So have a look at that, go visit that. And I believe the packs that you mentioned there, if you've got printer, and not many people have printers these days. I get messages from people saying, can you print this out? Can you print this out? I'm like, gone are the days where everyone had a printer. So if you do have a printer, keep up to date on that, and hopefully you'll get some of these packs. If not, I'm sure we'll speak to Maulana Saab and we'll get some of the packs from Nazim to Masjid Umar, so we can distribute them from there.
And hopefully, sorry, Barbara, just hopefully with good weather, hopefully coming around the corner, I'm hoping to see a lot more people out and inspired by some of the videos and some of the packs that you are doing. and hopefully we can, you know, spread the word and get people out and a little bit more physically active, because I've seen it from my own, like I said, with my own footballers, the little interaction I have with them. Our season has been stop-start, and every time they've come back, they've put on an extra few pounds, and it's that season to be a lot harder than it should have done. And like I said, you know, we both of us, we wish you every goodwill with your endeavours, and hopefully, you know, you can make it a real success, and it'll have a lasting community impact for all of us.
Once we've done our videos, what the aim will be is Rachel and ourselves will be able to send them to yourselves, so you can have them distribute up there as well. So it'll be like video labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. And the aim is even if the young person watches that video and does a feedback from it, they do that with yourself or in that pack at some point. And the aim is it's there every week now until wherever we've seen fit, because it may mean, you know, it's one session a week that we do around certain things. Like I've got a fitness instructor from Leeds, Richard. I've got another one from Bradford called Adil Malik, and they want to give their bits about how they have been. One's a professional boxing trainer, and the other is about the body, that how to bring and either bulk you up or bring you down. And 98% of people are asking to bring down. No one's asking to bulk up apart from the arms. So the aim is going to be quite, you know, because I don't want to be sat there going, hey, everybody, listen to me. No. The aim is I'm doing my bit, what I feel it got me through. But at the same time, I'll be bringing other people on who will be able to give their angle of, hey, this is what I did. This is where I was. I was talking to one person yesterday, and he said, oh, Naz, tell him about the prison towel technique. Even I was like, prison towel technique, what's that? Yeah, he goes, basically, what you're doing is you're getting a towel. So any towel at home towel. So this is like a home tea towel, right? All you're doing is making it into a long thing, pulling it and bringing it over your head and just bringing it back and forward and back and forward. And I'm not lying to you. He says, try do me 50. I got to 39 and I was in pain. I was like, oh, that's a towel. What the heck? Put that down. That's a towel. Where's the weights? He says, Naz, what you're doing there is, look, there's 2 types of training. You know this, don't you? And I was like, I think so. He says, look, one's the bulk and the weight, but one's your own body restriction, your own body movements. The other one he showed me was every morning to help you in later on in life not to get the arthritis and joints pain and stuff. He says, stretch every part against every part, outwards, inwards, this, that. And I was like, okay. And I did that. And I'm not lying to you. I heard some chronic cracks. Crack. I was thinking, am I actually all right, or do I need to get help? And he said, don't worry, Naz, you've not used them type of angles and muscles, so don't worry. So I do say it's going to be quite intense, but this is prison workout. It's something to get the mind going, isn't it, really?
Well, and I think in lockdown, that is the key, getting that mind going, keeping yourself busy during these difficult times. And hopefully, like we said, on the horizon with all the vaccination and stuff that's coming, hopefully there's a way out of it, and we can look back and think, oh, bloody hell, you know, what sort of times were those, and we can have a laugh about it. But everything we can do whilst we're in this will be benefit, and hopefully everyone will benefit from watching this and the stuff that's going to come.
Akif, what you said earlier really got to me as well. I've just put that on pen and paper. It was, Akif said, bike ride. You said you've got a bike. I've got a bike. I haven't seen it ridden. I haven't ridden it. Don't get me wrong. We've got one. We're happy, but we've not ridden it. So we're doing really bad. But the thing is, wouldn't it be nice to have another offshoot to say, our community has got a group of cohort who are bike riding. Yeah. Others do it. Other community members do it and all that. Or they've got 4, 5. You know, imagine having 10 people with their own bikes to say, yeah, once a week, we're going to meet up, or we're going to go to where you said we're going to go to X, Y, and places and see these places at the end of the day. You know, wouldn't that be nice? That'd be something that I would be passionately on with. I won't take the lead on it because I'm not good at biking, but I'd be there with you.
Well, hopefully, so some of these things can come to fruition. Barbara, I don't know if you want to come in there.
So I was gonna start closing out because we're coming out to the 1 hour mark. So that's usually our time limit. So what I want to do is I want to hand over to the guests. I want to say, if you had a parting message to our listeners today about the topics we were talking about, what would your parting message be? Naz, I'm gonna ask you first for your parting comments to our listeners.
All right. Okay. So my parting message is, look, everyone's going through this. There was a point in my life, and there's points in prisoners' life up and down the country, that they are actually going through this day in, day out. It may seem like there's no hope. It may seem like, hang on, it's all down and dull. We don't know what's going on. You'll be missing family members, friends, schools, colleges. But remember one thing, forget all of that. It's all about you and yourself. Remember to sit there and talk. I know some people may think, oh, hang on, that's a bit bizarre. Talk to yourself. No, put pen to paper. What are your worries? Get your worries out. Put them on the piece of paper rather than them up in your head. Talk to somebody in your family. Make effort within your family. You could be that one person that I've seen. I've worked with many families up and down the country in my time. But this last one within Girlington really made me proud, because when I seen a young person taking a video of his full family playing basketball in a basketball ring, which his mum and dad would never probably come into, made me feel like, you know, I've made that little spark in him, but he's ended up keeping the light going and he's carrying it on. So for me, it's bringing it down to stay positive, stay active, and that's not active on PlayStation and TV. Stay active and think about your own self for once, and think what's good for me and where can I take it. So that's for me from Consequence and Minecraft. I'll hand it over to Rachel.
Thank you, Naz.
Yeah, I would just say, you know, it's important to remember that none of us have been unaffected by these restrictions, by the isolation or the boredom. Not a single person has been unaffected by this, everything that's happened in the last year. And from that, we're all in it together, aren't we? We're all in the same boat. And I think that's why it's so important to talk about it, to do something. And I think if it feels hard to try something new, to start a new activity or something, keep it really, really simple. I always say, if you just do one thing, just go outside, go outside and look up at the sky, or look at the trees, look at something in nature, and kind of just bring yourself back to that. Look at the positives and have a go at something. And even just doing something so small for someone else can make you feel, really good. And again, like, pass that message of kindness on. So I think, in such difficult times, it's just really important to look after ourselves and each other. And we'll get through it. Like you say, we'll kind of look back and think, actually, there were some positives to take out of this experience. So that's what I would say.
Amazing. Thank you. And Akif, what would you, our listeners, parting comment? This is using Molna's, but as a step in for Molna, what will your parting comments be to our listeners?
Big shoes to fill for the Molana. I'd say stay positive. These are difficult times, but these times will pass. And it's just a case of the more active you can keep yourselves, the quicker the time will pass. And try new activities like we've been suggested today, whether it's a physical one or whether it's a creative one, are all ways that you can keep the mind active. And do something different. This is the opportunity. When are we going to have this opportunity again in our lifetimes, that we know we're going to have this time to ourselves? This is a 1 in 100-year event. So many of us, if it happens again, hopefully we won't see something like this again. But use the time as best we can, and we take it from there. Hopefully by this time next year, everything will be back to normal. But until then, can we say that we use the time properly, and can we say, we did something, or we learned something, or we learned a new skill in this time? Hopefully, the majority of us will be able to say, yes, we did. Not just that we clocked Grand Theft Auto 5, or we we watched all of X amount of, what was the thing, Tiger King on Netflix, and we watched all of that. There are other things, and there are more creative ways to spend our time. So let's use the time effectively, and let's get through this together.
Awesome, thank you for that. So I'd like to end on a couple of notes. Firstly, by saying a huge thank you to Naz and Rachel for coming on and helping us out and talking about this topic, which you're both clearly really passionate about. And I hope this project, like we said earlier, goes on to every success. Another one is Akif. I know you stepped in for Molna Saab, and thank you for stepping in and taking helping out host the podcast. So really appreciate that. The masjid is still so there's still building going on, and hopefully we're going to try getting some pictures and try sticking them on our Instagram and Facebook of what some of the development that's going on. But as always with a huge project like this, and where I think we're at 1.4 million or something in spend, and we still need that money just to finish off the project. We're so close to the end. When you go in and you see it, and you see that some of the carpets are down and the roof's in, and you're just like, oh, we're so close. So please, if you can spare anything, I know times are hard, put the method down below. So the account, sort code, use that for donations. There's the GoFundMe page, which is still active. You can use that, or good old-fashioned cash. Brother Zulfikar's numbers up on there. So have a chat with Brother Zulfikar and how we can get that money into the mosque in a safe way. Next week's podcast is the importance of safeguarding with Brother Shamsuddin. So inshallah, Molna Sahib will be back for that, and he's still organizing stuff in the background. So next Sunday at 7 o'clock, importance of safeguarding. I will hopefully see you then. So without further ado, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.